Welcome to what promises to be an engaging session of HFS Unfiltered Stories. Today, we are going to discuss the business imperatives behind automation directly from a leading RPA orchestrator C2. I am Ashish Chaturvedi, practice leader at HFS Research, and I'm joined by Erik from C2. Erik, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you, Ashish. Yes, I'm Erik Lien. I'm a co-founder and CEO of C2, formerly RPA Supervisor, and we were an RPA orchestrator. We're now a fully sort of universal intelligent automation orchestrator, but I'm sure we can get into that later on.
So let me straight away start with the money question. One of the biggest concerns for enterprises investing in automation is how they will show the ROI. And our research indicates that if you have an orchestrator in between, it can increase your bot utilization by about 30% and significantly also reduce operational overhead. Now, that is from our research, but how do you measure and communicate C2's business value and impact to your clients?
So because of our way of orchestrating, we typically see a 50% or higher increase in capacity on your bots. It reduces the manual work that comes with it with 75% and takes away 90% of the support issues on top of that. But more importantly, I think they scale faster, they govern better, and they prove the ROI with confidence from our reporting, which is all SLA based. So it gives you that real business value of each of your automations.
So, Eric, when you started, you said you started your journey as a RPA supervisor, and right now you are an intelligent automation orchestrator. Now, there is a statistic that I'll put in front of you, and then we'll go ahead from there. So, 80% of enterprises' automation initiatives are essentially siloed. So, and if you combine that with what how you started your journey from a supervisor to orchestrator, are these two correlated somewhere? You wanted to solve this problem. What problem did you come into the market to solve?
We started out by being RPA specialists. We grew a consulting business around it and been involved in almost 50 implementations of RPA. We saw that early on is good. The business cases are good. The ROI is good. But the more you scale or grow and the more business critical applications you take on and processes, the more time you spend managing your bots. So we tried to fix that, and we actually reached out to the RPA vendors and said, you need to make it more, robust, resilient, and easier to manage. They had other priorities, and so we looked at the market and we thought we need to do something for our customers. But the more we looked at the market, the more we saw RPA is just the beginning of the automation journey, and the sort of the higher up you get the automation or the cognitive food chain, the more desperate number of solutions vendors you will have, and none of them will be able to orchestrate all the work that goes on between them from a business point of view. And so that's when we decided to build C2 to solve these problems. Automation has come a long way since then, and just clicking on buttons, but most enterprises, they're still stuck on tools or sort of fragmented tools and disconnected efforts. And that's what we're essentially trying to solve.
Got it. And our research predicts that by 2027, about 60% of enterprises automation will involve autonomous AI agents, and which will, they'll be trying to move beyond traditional rule-based RPA. Now, with this shift, how is C2 adapting its platform to manage both deterministic RPA and more autonomous AI-driven workflows?
So, I mean, agentic AI will definitely change the game. Orchestration won't be just about triggering a bot. It will be coordinating independent, self-learning agents in real time. And that's really what we do. We don't separate between the deterministic RPA bots and the autonomous agents in the way we approach it. And that's because our approach is we prioritize and manage these bots based on an item level orchestration and need and prioritization. So we focus on the outcome of each piece of work that needs to be done. and you split it up in the sort of the parts it make. So that makes our orchestration more efficient than and our competition for now. But it also means it really translates from the deterministic RPA bots into the agentic AI space, because they are also, you know, single-threaded technologies. They work on a one-to-one basis. They log into systems. They have resource limitations. And with orchestration, you can then split the task as well, so that you can maintain governance and check at regular intervals, so that they don't get too creative in their work.
Right. And one of the biggest barriers to AI-driven automation is the need for governance. I'm sure you would be aware of the EU AI Act, which requires AI governance across automated workflows. And at HFS Research, we figured out that about 70% of enterprises cite lack of AI explainability as a top concern, especially in regulated industries. Now, what I at least understand from my limited understanding of platform orchestration is that you can also bring governance benefits. One thing is you can, become a central point to enforce security, compliance, and error handling across all automation activities, and that can be very beneficial. Uh, from a C2 point of view, how do you approach governance, and do you really see a orchestrator can solve this part of the puzzle?
Orchestration can solve part of the puzzle, certainly not all of it. And you're right. I mean, autonomy without accountability is just a risk. And enterprises don't just need automation that runs; they need automations they can trust. And so that's where we come in. So one thing is how you set up the automations. You've got lifecycle management, so you've got all of the information in one place. The the part where we really add value is with our universal queuing system and data management. You can split the processes, and we sort of keep all the information, so you know what they've done, and you can hand over information from one step to the other. And because it's event driven, if the output is not as expected, the next event won't be triggered. So you've got fail safes for every step of the way, and this is also supporting, a more modular approach to your automations. So don't let your agent do an end-to-end process. Let 10 agents do parts of it. So you have that control all the way through. So you can control it real time, but you also have the audit trail to verify what each agent did and why they did it.
Now, let's talk about something which is more forward-looking. Right now, we are seeing a convergence of process mining, automation, and AI into more integrated platforms. Does C2 plan to expand its capabilities beyond orchestration to things like, or areas like process discovery, for example, or AI-driven process optimization? What's your plan for the future?
So we don't believe in building a closed ecosystem. So we believe in orchestrating the best of what's out there. So we've got our core orchestration capabilities, and we are adding process mining capabilities for the processes that we have that we are orchestrating, but not a discovery tool, and not process mining in areas where we don't actually manage the process. We're adding more capabilities around application lifecycle management. So these are important elements to us, but more important, I think, from where we're going is to enforce everything around managing the automations from a business perspective. So more analytics, more autonomous orchestration, adding. So we're adding, reporting and analytics based on large language models, so that you can actually interact with it. So you don't have to look at the dashboards, look at log files. You can just ask questions: what's happened? What's gone? What's been going well? What's been going wrong? Are there specific trends we should look out for? So those sorts of elements. And then we're building out an optimization center with lots of optimization agents that will go and do specific tasks. So they'll look at, some will look at infrastructure to see where you can do improvements. Some will look at the processes themselves. Some will look at which technologies you use and where there are opportunities to change them to more efficient technologies. So we want to stay in the orchestration lane and leave, the different automation technologies to the experts in that area.
Love the clarity of that answer, Eric. And thanks for sharing all your thoughts. Currently, if we look at the RPA space, everyone is in an arms race to add new functionalities and capabilities. So I'm assuming the role of an orchestrator is just going to grow. We would love to chat with you in the future as well. But thanks for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ashish. My pleasure.